competition.
Competition.
A cheese rolling competition.
We think competition is like, can I beat you? But it actually, the word means to strive together.
There's the tendency that leaders specifically want to do it ourselves. To a point, that's not bad, but when you're going through something hard, it's just not that smart. It's never a bad idea to learn from others.
If you win at work and you lose at home, you still lose. It's a powerful statement, but I really do believe it's true with all my heart. Welcome to the Lead Everyday Show. I'm Randy Gravitt.
And I'm Mark Miller.
And we've been having a conversation the last couple of weeks now, Mark, about winning begins at home. Got a book coming out next week. Excited about that. Been answering some questions this week. And one of the questions we got was, if you're trying to build a great family, what kind of support do you need outside of just your spouse or your kid, your immediate family? Like, do you need some other support to help you? Because sometimes it can feel like we're on an island here with what we're trying to do. Maybe nobody else is thinking that way. What's the importance of support? And I think it's a really good question. Looking forward to jumping in here with you a little bit today. I know we've been helped a lot by people outside of our family, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah, we have. I mean, I think there's the tendency that I think is probably a byproduct of our culture, that rugged individualism that leaders specifically want to do it ourselves. And it may or may not be our culture, because I've seen it in our grandkids and I saw it in my kids. I'm going to do it by myself, right? Yeah. There's that desire for independence.
Yeah,
and to a point, that's not bad. But when you're going through something hard or you're trying to do something very, very challenging, it's just not that smart to try and do it all by yourself.
Well, I know you've been this way, and I have as well. I mean, I've anytime I'm trying something that's sort of outside my scope, I'm trying to get better at this or that. Pick anything. You were talking a few weeks ago about trying to get better at golf. You had somebody that was trying to help you think about that. And pick any area of your life you're trying to improve. I want to be around people who are a little better than I am. I want to be around people who are a little further along. Maybe they're more experienced. Maybe they've got some insight that I don't have, or maybe they're just on the same journey, but they can. I won't use the word commiserate, because I think sometimes we get with other people and we talk about how hard it is, and they talk about, and then we just make it all hard. And that's not really what I'm talking about here. I want to make sure we stay positive here, but we're trying to make progress together. And I go back even to the word competition. Doesn't it actually mean, we think competition is like, can I beat you? But it actually, the word means, I think, to strive together. And I think if we just have some people around us that we're all trying to chase the same thing, we all want to win at home.
Yeah,
we probably are going to be positioned to do so.
Yeah, well, you made a short list of the things that those voices can provide. One that I would add to that list is perspective. And that comes in many forms, but not the least of which is you're not alone. Whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Particularly in the context of winning at home, somebody else has been there. Somebody else has done that. Somebody else has overcome some of those obstacles and challenges that you feel are insurmountable.
Yeah.
So I think it's always a good idea to get others involved.
Yeah, I'll build on that. I like the idea if you I don't know if you've ever done any rock climbing or anything. If you do any rock climbing, you'll see that usually, if it's somewhere that's been climbed before, there's old anchors in the rock wall. Somebody's been there before. And so this is not typically the first, or at least I'm not climbing somewhere that nobody's been before.
And what are those anchors for?
Yeah, exactly.
To put in a safety rope.
They're put in it to safety.
So that when you fall,
you
don't die.
That's exactly right.
Those anchors
so
are
I'm not
really
climbing
important.
anywhere that we don't have those little
Right.
things. I'm not actually climbing on those very often, but that idea of doing that just reminds me that there are people who have been pretty successful at growing a family. And if I can go sit down with them, buy a cup of coffee, have a conversation. What did you do well? What do you wish you could do differently? Because I'm guessing everybody who even you'd think has a great family, they'd love to have some do-overs as well. And they can. You can learn from them. It's great to learn from your own mistakes, but if I can learn from yours, that feels like it's maybe even better.
Yeah.
So some good stuff there that we could do if we will just, start talking to some people that seem to be getting it right.
And you mentioned a couple of relational ways to do that with a face-to-face, sit down with a cup of coffee. That's fantastic. But you can read books.
Yeah, get a copy of the book here. I think you're going to learn some
from
stuff.
other people. You can, again, huddle with groups of people. A lot of our listeners may be familiar with the small group concept. We've got a small group that studies leadership. We've been meeting 26 years.
Yeah.
10
You
of
could
us
do one
in
on
a
parenting
room.
or marriage
You could
or
do
whatever
one
you
on
want to.
parenting or marriage
Family.
or family or whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, the one-on-one cup of coffee is great, but you might want to get together with a group of folks that are on the same journey. Now, I think it's always better if somebody's further along,
Mhm.
because if
Yeah.
not, you may not.
Well, you might need a leader of the group.
yeah, you
know?
really might not have any answers. You might just have a
Like
whole
what
lot
do we,
of
what
questions.
a lot of what do we do? But
Yeah.
but yeah, if you can get somebody that's a little further along,
Mhm.
it's been helpful. And I look back on when we were first becoming parents, there were a couple of people that had little kids, and I looked at them and I really respected what they were doing as dads, moms, you know. And and I remember Laura and I would go and meet with them and have some conversations, and they encouraged us. And you know, it's just I mean, when you're starting out, you don't know what you're doing. You're kind of feel like you're making
Trying to
up
keep
as you
them
go.
alive.
Yeah, you can't trying to keep them alive. That's basically it. You know, the nurse kind of freaked me out when she said you got to take her home after 2 days, and I thought this is going really well, but it's challenging when you don't know what you're doing. But if you've got some people around you that can be a voice of encouragement to you too, it actually does literally put courage into you. Know, okay, this is actually doable. And I think the same thing can be true in any of our family relationships. And even if you're navigating something outside your immediate family, you got a conflict with a extended family member, you may know somebody who's gone through that and navigated that, and you can sit down with them and say, hey, I like your word perspective. It's easy. If you get in a family, you're going to lose perspective at different points along the
Yeah.
way. And that can be a strong voice.
And what we're foreshadowing here is an entire body of knowledge that we've called learn from others.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly right.
under the broader heading of accelerate your success, you're going to see more from us going forward, because we just mentioned 4 or 5 ways you can learn from others.
Mhm.
There's scores of ways that you can learn from others. And I think this is a great place for you to practice, whether that's your normal default mode or your natural tendency or not. It's never a bad idea to learn from others.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so if you really want to accelerate your success, especially at home, we encourage you today to find one person who maybe is a little further ahead of you than where you are. Maybe they got something going that you say, that's what we want. We want it to be like that. Go talk to them. Go have a conversation with them. Maybe get a group of people, like Mark said, to help you on this journey. You might even find 4 or 5 people who are in your similar situation. Go find the so-called expert and have them talk to your group, buy them dinner, spend some time together. You'd be surprised at what you might learn. And the next thing you know, you're actually on your way to where you want to be. All right, remember, the best leaders lead every day. Keep doing what you're doing.